what's up, everybody? Good morning. Happy Wednesday morning. This is the Swinging Bull with Mr. Stock Lock Profits. One of the things we wanted to jump right into is Elon Musk sells 7.92 million Tesla shares worth $6.8 billion after earlier this year he said he wasn't going to sell any more shares after April 28th. What do you think about that, Lee?
Oh man, well, it's good to be back, man.
Yes.
Yeah, good morning to you. Yeah, so with Tesla, selling some big shares there, right? So $6.8 billion worth of shares. And I mean, I could see this really in relation to the Twitter deal. Probably he's probably expecting maybe that he's going to have to buy Twitter, and maybe that's kind of what he's selling these shares for.
Right.
So I think that's what he's preparing for. But when he was asked, man, I mean, when he was asked if there's going to be an event that he may continue to sell shares, he said highly unlikely. But if the Twitter deal has to go through, he may have to sell some more shares.
Right. Yeah, and that Twitter deal, he originally tried to acquire that in April for $44 billion at $54.20 per share.
Yep.
So he's selling shares because he might be forced to buy Twitter, right? And he might need the money. Some of his investors, could potentially back out of the deal. So maybe that's why he's selling the shares in case, he is forced to buy Twitter.
$54, my friend. $54.20 per share is what he signed up for. Let's see if it goes through in court and he has to do it.
Yeah, I mean, looks like the market's pumping right now. But let's talk about the Twitter gains in pre-market here. Looks like they gapped up this morning when pre-market opened at 4 a.m. Eastern here, gapped up from about $42 and some change over 43, almost $44. And here we are now consolidating a little bit right here.
They're expecting the good news, huh? They're like, well, he's selling shares. He must be buying us. Let's start pumping this stock back up.
Yeah, that definitely can be looked at that way. He sold his shares. People can take that as he's trying to accumulate some money because he might be forced to buy Twitter. So here we got Twitter up 3.34% in the pre-market here. Now the market in general is running, and we'll talk about that here in a minute with the CPI report that was released. Let's talk about Coinbase. Terrible earnings. Cryptocurrency exchange operators shares did slide 5% in pre-market after the company reported a wider than expected quarterly loss. Let me go ahead and pull up the Coinbase.
And it's pumping today, bud. I mean, the CPI numbers out. Everything's pumping.
Everything's going to be,
yeah, it was terrible news though, right? I mean, they lost over $1 billion for the last quarter that they just reported. So I think the only good news they have today is that the market's pumping, so why not pump a little bit with it? But the earnings concerning for sure. I mean, you're losing that much money. How much more can they go with it without having to cut a lot more employees?
Yeah, absolutely. And they also, a bunch of price target cuts came in from JMP Securities, Piper Sandler, coming in with a price target cuts. Not really bad cuts. Got from 120 down to 115, 205
you
down to 195.
hate to see that. I mean, you hate to see that as an investor, right? I mean, look at Cathy Woods. Cathy Woods is sitting here looking at Webull just like we are right now, saying, damn, there's a bunch of price cuts. What do I do? I have millions of shares.
Yep.
So it kind of prevents it from pushing up, right? Because that just creates more sell-off, more panic, more sell-off. And Coinbase, I mean, right now we got a pump pre-market because CPI data, but I think it sells right back off again.
Yeah, I mean, we hit a high of 103.55 on Coin 2 days ago on August 8th, and as you can see, been selling off since then, all the way down to $80. And of course, like you said, it's getting a little sympathy pump right now because the markets in general are running. Let's talk about that for a second. I wanted to pull up the economic calendar and look at the numbers that were just released just a little bit ago. We got the CPI year over year numbers were released. Now, the previous reading was 9.1%. They were expecting 8.7%, a little bit to the downside there, which is good for inflation, and actually came in at 8.5%. So what do you think about this? Do you think we hit peak inflation and now we're coming down? I mean, that's what the numbers are telling us. And
I mean, that's kind of what we have to go. I mean, as simple as that, sometimes just reading over the data. And I mean, that means that it's below what they expected. So that actually means that they've actually put a dent in inflation for the first time in many, many months.
Yep.
And I think that's a good sign for the market. I think that gives us more breathing room and more chance to push higher. I mean, we're breaking. I mean, SPY right now was finding it hard to break like 416 a couple of days ago, broke right through that in pre-market. I mean, we could continue to push higher now. I mean, knowing that inflation was lower than expected. And if that's the top, then there's more good news to come.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I mean, as soon as this CPI data was released, the stock futures rose. After the key inflation reading showed a better than expected slowdown for rising prices. Futures on the Dow up over 400 points, 1.2%. S&P up over 1.7%. Nasdaq jumped over 2.4% this morning. So
huge numbers.
Huge numbers.
I mean, it was pretty flat. It was pretty flat. I mean, it was trending up a little bit pre-market. The overall market in general was trending up a little bit. But yeah, with that data, I mean, it just spiked, right? I mean, there was no coming back after that huge 5-minute candle on all the markets in general. But I was reading also about the Feds, because the Feds were saying that, they got these large interest rates right now. Every time that they speak, they're bringing out higher interest rates, 0.75. So now they're saying, what I'm reading here is that they want to see many months of decline in CPI growth before they can start pumping the brakes on certain interest rate hikes. Yeah. So they want to see. So this is great news, a great start to August and the future few months. But it's saying here that the Feds, in order for them to put brakes on those interest rate hikes, they need to see several months of this.
Yeah, we need multiple months in succession to show an improvement. I was reading that earlier too, and there's a lot of chatter online that CPI is coming in lower. Now they can start reducing the interest rates, and that's just not the case. We got to show a pattern that of improvement with the inflation, and then maybe they can be a little bit more dovish on the interest rates. Instead of hiking them, maybe they can start decreasing them. But we're going to need quite a few reports in a row to show us improvement on that inflation. So here we go. Here, SPY's up 1.6%. In the pre-market here, along with all the other indexes, all up beautifully today. Do you think that this is going to sustain throughout the day, or are they pricing this in and maybe we get some selling today when the market opens?
I think it's only natural, man, to have a little pullback. But in general, I'm very bullish. I think we get a little pullback, but I think we trend up on the day. Gotcha. The Fed's meeting is until September, right? So we got a little bit of time to push until that meeting. So I think I'm bullish today. I'm kind of in the middle sometimes, but I'm pretty bullish today. Yeah, we did break through that area today. So, I mean, it's not updated, but we have gone through that resistance point. We just need to, if we're going to come down, let's come down to that line, hold it as support, and then push from there. That's kind of what I want to see happen. So if we come down to about like what's it at now, 418?
It's exactly at 418 in pre-market.
So say about, it can come down to about 416, 416.50, and then bounce from there. That would be very healthy for me, in my opinion. What do you think? I mean, the trend right there, if you put a line from the bottom of that movement all the way up till now, it's held the trend line very well. Yesterday was on edge where it was about to break. Today, it just pushed right off. So very bullish today. What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like you said, the next Fed meeting isn't until September. Very well could being a nice bullish run leading up until then. You know, and that's with the understanding that no more bad news comes out as far as world news and stuff like that. But yeah, no, this was great. We had a great chat this morning. Appreciate everyone joining us on YouTube, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.